Ah, yes, the age-old full outrage machine has been spun up again by you-know-who, Anita Sarkeesian. Long ago, she had some pull on the internet. Now, whenever she seems to poke her head out, it gets immediately whacked down like the carnival game that is called Whack-A-Mole, I think. Regardless, it's always funny when the mole gets whacked. Now, The Mandalorian, which is in its second season right now, I've actually started watching again from the first season because I kind of watch it sporadically. It's very popular, which means people with certain political leanings are going to want to inject their opinions. And Anita Sarkeesian is no different. And long after feminist frequency has been flat broke out of money, she's been looking for a way to inject herself into pop culture ever since. She rose to prominence during the GG era, which has been over for 5 years. But people like her have never moved on because they've never developed a set of skills to profit from anything but being a victim. So she put out a tweet about of course, the boob armor. That's right. Posting saying, Lady Mandalorians have boob armor? Oh, come on. To which she received just 3.2 thousand likes for her 52,000 followers. Golly, I thought she'd have way more than that. But 8.7 thousand quote tweets. The quote tweets is kind of the new ratio. And of course, she is now tuned in to start playing the victim. It received 11,000 replies to just 3.2 thousand favorites. And this isn't the first time she's injected her opinion into The Mandalorian. And in fact, last time it was that Star Wars girl that completely destroyed her criticism about The Mandalorian and showrunner Jon Favreau. This goes back to November 21st last year. YouTuber That Star Wars Girl, which coincidentally is going to be in 2 videos today. Shout out to Anna. Shut down Anita Sarkeesian after she blasted Disney's new Star Wars TV series The Mandalorian and showrunner Jon Favreau. Sarkeesian took to Twitter to say, am I extremely tired, or is there not a single female speaking character in the first episode of The Mandalorian? I gotta have missed something, right? Sarkeesian most definitely missed the entire scene where the Mandalorian visits the armorer, played by actress Emily Swallow. It's actually one of the more interesting scenes of the first episode. It hints at the Mandalorian's deep culture and their value of their people, place, and on the Beskar metal. Yeah, that's the scene where he has this plate and she melts it down, creates a piece of armor out of it. Despite missing the key scene, Sarkeesian would then blast the Mandalorian showrunner Jon Favreau. She wrote on Twitter, I guess Jon Favreau was like, well, we just make all the vehicles female, like the ship and the blurg, then we're good, right? That's just about the right number of female. By the way, Gina Carano, very popular on the show as well. Boy, you'd think I'd learn how to say her name by now. She continues writing, it feels especially jarring given how much recent films have done to amplify women and women of color who have been historically marginalized in the franchise. Sarkeesian asked, I still feel like I just forgot an entire scene, and that in this year of our Lord, 2019, an epic blockbuster television show could not be released with any female speaking parts. She would eventually admit that there in fact was one, but did not retract her claims about Jon Favreau. She wrote, shout out to Jaded Austin for reminding me that the one scene had a female character. Lol, still, ugh. Of course, Star Wars Girl would reply, I'm extremely tired of your blatant isms. No one cares about your obsession with women. There's a concept called quality versus quantity. Learn it. Of course, the Star Wars Girl was not not the only person to shut down Sarkeesian. A number of others did as well. You watched the first episode and you did not miss the Forager, who is female, but you're complaining about this. Not talking about the acting, writing, character depth, pacing, critiquing media like this is just how we ended up with The Last Jedi. Whatever you say is irrelevant. They will do whatever suits the plot. Also, people saying the armorer is a woman. How I tired of your feminist policy. Didn't you get these wonderful movies, Charlie's Angels and Terminator Dark Fate? We've had enough woke BS this year. Leave Star Wars alone, lefty. Then Lied puts together a nice little thread here. So shout out to Lied saying, okay, Captain Snark is doing the "this is because I'm a woman" thing. Let's have a thread. Women respond to Anita Sarkeesian. First, we have Nikoko. Would you rather have their bobs exposed? Like, I don't get the criticism here. How about, I have a 34H cup. I need this type of armor regardless of what your flat chest thinks. How about Sabrina? Cringe, please stay to retweeting plants and I'll stop acting like you know how the Space Warrior race designs their armor. Also, bobs exist and naturally cause a bump in their clothing. I just wanted to remind you to cause you seem to not notice. Oh, because you seem not to notice. Set on your own chest I seem. Here's another woman. So women having a chest is bad. Also, how can they wear flat armor with their bust in the way? That would be very uncomfortable. Of course, I know feminists long ago enough to know they hate logic. Now, the actual concept of this protrusion in armor has been, widely debated. But at the end of the day, like, who cares? I mean, more women responding. Wear a military flak vest that pushes your chest down to almost non-existence like I had to do, and you'll be begging for this type of armor, you braying moron. It's female-shaped armor because, get this, females are shaped differently. It's not boob armor. Would you rather their chest be compressed like a waffle maker? Here's another female. Some do and some don't. So what? This isn't new. Why aren't you upset that they give Mando a flat-chested armor? See how dumb this sounds? Here's Vera Dark, friend of the channel. What do you expect women to do? Flatten themselves like pancakes? Imagine being mad just because their chest isn't pressed into pancakes under flat armor. Have you ever worn a flat chest plate while having these? It's literally the equivalent of wearing a corset 3 sizes too small, and you'll get cramps for a week. Of course, it's hundreds of women replying in and just entirely destroying Anita. But now, of course, it's time to whine. Sorry to burst your bubble, but the jig is up, y'all. Star Wars isn't some niche exclusive tree club where you get to hang up a no girls allowed sign. This is the mythical gatekeeping argument that has been raging for about 5 years now. Last time I checked, I didn't see any dudes standing in front of the Star Wars box office doors and refusing women. I didn't see any men refusing to let women buy Star Wars action figures. In fact, I would be willing to bet you that there are millions of men who would absolutely love it if their girlfriends or wives actually showed interest in Star Wars. This is the same tired argument that these people make about Magic the Gathering card games and video games and things like this. It's absolutely absurd. I played Magic the Gathering since 1993, and only in the late 2000s did this argument start coming about that somehow there was this mythical gatekeeping of male Magic players keeping females out, which was, of course, absolutely ridiculous. I spent many a Friday nights in a sweaty, stinky room with 30 to 40 other guys who would have absolutely loved if a female had showed up. There's nobody keeping females out of gaming. There's nobody keeping females out of the Star Wars universe. These grown children get so emotional and throw these embarrassing temper tantrums when a woman even has the slightest critique. Again, it's not because you're a woman. In fact, much of the backlash of your statement came from women. The slightest critique on the mainstream corporate media they feel ownership over. Well, you do, apparently. They keep trying to gatekeep the most popular franchise in the world. No, actually, they don't. I think you see, but for real, we already did this, showing 1,000 comments to 500 likes, and then showing the 2,000 comments to 500 likes. She's saying that she's already been ratioed before, then saying there are sure a lot of blacksmiths in my armor today, or in my mentions today. And you say, Anita Sarkeesian plays the victim of receiving pushback from women against disingenuous complaint of chest armor in The Mandalorian. Anita has once again sparked a wave of discourse after the notorious feminist media critic cried foul and played the victim after receiving pushback against a complaint she made against chest armor in The Mandalorian. While the latest season of The Mandalorian has thus far shown numerous moments worthy of fan excitement, such as Din Djarin's straight out of Knights of the Old Republic, Krat Dragon Hunter, or Baby Yoda potentially eating eggs, few moments of the second season have enjoyed a big fan reaction as far as a fan favorite Mandalorian, Bo-Katan Kryze. Kryze? Probably not pronouncing that right. Making her first appearance in the Star Wars Rebels episode, Heroes of Mandalore, Bo-Katan appeared alongside the newly introduced Mandalorians, Koska Reeves and Axe Wolves, clad in their unique Mandalorian armors and offering Din Djarin information on the Jedi exchange for his assistance in raiding an Imperial vessel. While most fans agreed that the appearance of fully armored Mandalorian trio was the highlight of the episode, Sarkeesian took issue with how Bo-Katan and Koska's armors were designed to allow room for their chests. Unsurprisingly, Sarkeesian's take received massive amounts of backlash, with many fans noting that the armor wasn't chest armor, but rather just armor made specifically for the female body, and asserting that the critics seemed to be just looking for an issue to be upset with. Quote, looking at these three, seeing how he has similar plating in that's flat to chest, telling that the chest armor is just made to contour their chests, observed Supershenko. More so than made for the spicy intent, as women there have protruding chests versus the man there. In response to one user who sarcastically replied to Anita, yes, it's terribly unfair to cater to women's needs in combat armor. Author and U.S. Iraq War combat veteran Ryan Lay noted in his real life, the real problem for female soldiers' gear is, in fact, how the sappy plates are flat and smash against our chest and flatten them. It's so uncomfortable. Jesus, all the ways that body armor needs to change, and 6 pounds lighter is what they came up with. Yeah, the gear is heavy, but we deal with it. The real problem is the sappy plates are flat and smash against our chests and flatten them, so it's uncomfortable. It's almost like 50% of the planet have these fleshy mounds on our chests that hurt if they're squished. Obviously, it goes on and on and on. After receiving massive ratio in our initial tweet, with over 1,000 replies compared to a little over 50 likes, Sarkeesian turned her sights on her detractors and quipped, but for real, we already did this, providing a screenshot comparison of engagement on her tweet with similarly abysmal ratio on her last attack on The Mandalorian, in which she asked the series premiere, am I extremely tired, or is there not a single speaking character? And of course, her meltdown continues. Sorry, it's not for women. Here's another person that says, I actually like a lot of your criticisms and think you have important points, but when women are pointing out that they have worn stage or in reenactment armor with a chest allotment for comfort, and you ignore that, feels sort of scummy. My mom was a Star Wars fan from the get-go. I've been a Star Wars fan since I came to this country. Star Wars has always been inclusive. It's people like you, notorious agitators, who try to antagonize and demonize fans that are part of the problem. Well, thanks for the laughs, Anita. I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone. By the way, if you aren't already subscribed, smash that red subscribe button right down below the video. I cover just about everything on this channel 5 to 6 times a day, 6 days a week. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.